The film opens deep in the jungles of South Asia. A group of men is busy cutting down trees. Among them, one man is operating a machine. While working, he notices a movement behind the trees but pays little attention to it. However, his concern escalates when one of his fellow workers suddenly falls to the ground. Rushing over to check, he is horrified to find that the man's head has been severed. Panic overtakes him, and he attempts to flee for his life. In his haste, he gets caught in a trap, a net, and ends up hanging upside down by his feet. At that moment, a member of a tribal clan emerges from the jungle. This tribal attacks him with brutal force and kills him mercilessly. It is revealed that these tribals are cannibals, people who consume human flesh, living in the jungle in their own secretive clan. The scene then shifts to a group of 4 friends, 2 couples, who have arrived in the same region for a trip. Among them, we have a young man named RJ and his wife, along with another couple, which includes a boy named Jasmine and her husband. RJ's husband is wealthy, having recently sold one of his companies and gained a significant fortune. To celebrate the sale, he is hosting a trip for his friends, insisting that all expenses for the journey will be covered by him. The next day, the group prepares to venture into the jungle. A guide arrives to lead them and promises to take them deep into the forest, showing them various sights. To start, they are taught how to ride a boat, as their journey will involve traveling by water. After some preparation, the guide tells them that if they want a truly memorable experience, he will need 2 full days to take them around. The friends readily agree, excited for the adventure. The guide then collects all their phones, explaining that he wants them to enjoy the jungle fully, without distractions. Everyone complies except RJ, who secretly keeps his phone with him. With preparations complete, the group boards the boat and sets off into the jungle. The guide warns them of certain dangers. The jungle is home to cannibal tribals who avoid human contact but will attack if provoked. He recounts that his own grandfather disappeared in the forest, with only his bones later found, a grim reminder of the tribal's lethal presence. He reassures the group, however, that as long as they do not enter the tribal's territory, they should remain safe. Meanwhile, on the other side of the forest, 2 social media influencers, eager for more views, ride their bikes into the jungle. Their adventure turns deadly when an accident causes them to fall. The girl calls desperately for the boy, receiving no response. Approaching his bike, she is horrified to see his head severed, lying on the ground. Terrified, she screams and flees deeper into the forest. She stumbles upon a large cave, hoping for refuge, only to find no one there. A tribal suddenly appears behind her. When she turns, he has vanished. Soon, another tribal throws a helmet, the boy's helmet, at her. Armed with weapons, the tribals kill her brutally, just as they did with the others. Back with the main group, they make arrangements to spend the night in the jungle. As night falls, the guide and RJ's wife sit together. He explains more about the forest, warning that everyone who has come to exploit it, cutting down trees, for instance, has never returned. Recently, loggers had attempted the same but vanished, victims of the protective tribals. He emphasizes that the tribals attack only when humans disturb them. Otherwise, they remain hidden and pose no threat. Later that night, Jasmine quietly gets up to go to the washroom. RJ follows her and catches her, revealing that they are secretly having an affair. Jasmine expresses her frustration, explaining that she had planned this trip to confront RJ and reveal the truth about their relationship in front of everyone. RJ, however, insists that it is not the right time because his wife's father intends to transfer his company to him. Jasmine realizes RJ will not leave his wife, despite the affair, and feels betrayed, as she genuinely loves him. Angered, she leaves him and returns to sleep. Unbeknownst to the others, both RJ and Jasmine are cheating, and only RJ's wife and Jasmine's husband are aware of the affair. The next morning, the group discovers that Jasmine's husband has left with the boat, taking the bag containing all the phones. The guide warns them that if he goes the wrong way, it could be dangerous, so they must find him immediately. The friends set out in the boat to search for him. After traveling a bit, they come across 2 paths, one straight and one sloping. Jasmine believes her husband took the straight path, as he is inexperienced with the boat and would likely avoid the more challenging route. The guide insists that the direct path is too dangerous and refuses to go, but RJ's wife convinces him to accompany them, arguing they cannot face the danger alone. Reluctantly, The guide agrees, and they continue their search. After this, the group decides to take the direct path through the forest. As they move forward, they soon come across a boat, the same boat that Jasmine's husband had taken earlier. This gives them hope that he must be nearby. The guide stops at this point and says firmly, "I am not going any further. If you all want to find your friend, go ahead. I will wait here." The guide stays behind, keeping watch near the boat, while the group ventures further into the forest in search of Jasmine's husband. Meanwhile, the guide, sitting alone, suddenly hears noises coming from the bushes. Curious and cautious, he follows the sound. Eventually, he reaches a spot where people's belongings are scattered and notices his grandfather's cap lying there. Seeing it after so many years fills him with immense sadness, as he had loved his grandfather deeply. Unbeknownst to him, a tribal is perched on a tree right behind him. The moment the guide notices the tribal, he panics and begins running for his life. He jumps into the boat and tries to escape, but he cannot get far. A tribal emerges from the water and, with a massive knife, slashes his throat, killing him instantly. Meanwhile, the group continues deeper into the forest. They reach the same large cave that had appeared earlier. Suddenly, Jasmine's husband appears there. The group is startled, but relief quickly replaces fear as they are happy to see that he is safe. In reality, he had left alone out of anger over the affair between Jasmine and RJ the previous night. He hides the truth, claiming he went out simply to be alone. They all head back toward the guide's location, only to find that he is missing. Thinking that he abandoned them, RJ notices the guide's knife lying on the ground. Accepting the situation, they continue forward in the boat. As they move further, they stumble upon the guide's boat, now covered in blood. Nearby, a vessel used to heat water and a bed where all their phones had been stored are visible. When they approach the vessel and look inside, they are horrified to see the guide's severed head floating in it. Panic and fear overwhelm them. They quickly get into the boat, attempting to escape. However, a fallen tree blocks their path. They try to maneuver the boat, but a tribal suddenly emerges from the water and attacks RJ. A fierce struggle ensues, and RJ, seizing a chance, stabs the tribal with a knife. The tribal falls into the water, badly injured, and dies. Their boat continues drifting further down the river, leaving them stranded and forcing them to proceed on foot. Deep inside the forest, navigating becomes increasingly difficult. It is late at night, and exhaustion sets in, so they decide to rest and sustain themselves by drinking coconut water. Everyone eventually goes to sleep, but RJ is unable to rest, as mosquitoes relentlessly bite him. To protect himself, he smears mud on his body and tries to sleep. In the darkness, a tribal silently approaches them. RJ, noticing the movement, quietly rises and attempts to attack from behind. However, the tribal strikes him on the head, rendering him unconscious. At the same time, Jasmine's husband appears and attacks the tribal, but he is overpowered and beaten severely. When RJ regains consciousness, he sees several tribals dragging Jasmine's husband, who is bound with ropes. After the tribals leave, RJ approaches his friend and says, "Forgive me, my friend. I cannot save you. If I free you now, their attention will return to us. Don't worry. I will save Jasmine and my wife and get them out of here." The tribals take Jasmine's husband to their hideout, where they cruelly chop off his hands and legs, preparing him as food. The next morning, RJ wakes up his wife and Jasmine, lying to them that Jasmine's husband went out to get help. Hoping for safety, the two women agree to move forward with him. However, the forest is dense, making it difficult to navigate. At one point, RJ's wife spots a tribal, causing everyone to panic. The tribals chase them, and the group begins running for their lives. In the chaos, Jasmine accidentally falls into a pit, impaled by a sharp piece of wood. She writhes in pain. Using branches, RJ's wife fashions a rope to climb down and help her, removing the wood from Jasmine's body and bringing her safely back up. Jasmine is badly injured and struggling with the pain. Continuing through the forest, they eventually find a boat, which eases their progress as they no longer need to wade through water. They board it and move forward. RJ notices that the tribals are still following them. To mislead them, he leaves the water, enters the forest, and places his phone on a tree, playing a loud video to attract attention. A tribal approaches, drawn by the sound. RJ ambushes him from behind, but the tribal overpowers him, beating him severely. The tribal then hangs RJ from a tree by his neck. Turning toward RJ's wife and Jasmine, the tribal moves to attack them as they sleep unaware in the boat. RJ grabs the guide's knife, cuts the rope holding him, and attacks the tribal. The struggle continues in the water, and this time RJ seizes the tribal's weapon, using it to decapitate him. With the immediate threat neutralized, RJ tries to escape the forest with his wife and Jasmine. However, dozens of tribals emerge, blocking their path. To protect the two women, RJ sacrifices himself, surrendering to the tribals. They attack him brutally, killing him. The women try to stop him, but it is too late. Overcome with grief, they weep for the loss of their husbands. Eventually, Jasmine and RJ's wife reach the shore safely, but the tragedy of losing their husbands leaves them heartbroken. The film ends with their escape, marked by both relief and sorrow.